You are listening to the Landed Bolts podcast, episode 3. Your local
3.
Austin skate podcast about everything skating. We're filmed on site. Today we're again at basically the Landed Bolts studio, aka Wells Branch Skatepark, off to the side. It's a little windy today, so if you're watching, you might get a little seasick. Not our fault. Anyways, today we got something super special. We're gonna do a few tips, a few advice, a few things that helped us in our skate careers as beginners. I'm joined by Jorge, Mike, and Vince. Got a little mix up on the cast. Fired everyone else. Mike made it though.
I got a new job.
Mike made the cut.
I'm still here. Oh yeah.
We are all pros, so yeah. We get paid to do this. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Hey, if you give us money. All right.
It wouldn't be allegedly.
So
official. It's like Coke bottles everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. So as I was saying, we could. Yeah. No. Anyways, I was thinking about this. What's the first thing you need to get into skating?
The skateboard.
A
Skateboard.
Do you guys remember your first boards?
Whew. I had a zero deck from getting that Thunder Trucks. I think I got it like getting good grades. First
nice.
board at Zoomies.
Heck yes, dude. I think my first board was my first trip into debt. Because yes, no, I was like, it was in middle school, 7th grade. My parents were like, "Oh, we'll get you a skateboard, but you got to save up for it." So I saved up like $50, and I was like, "Okay, this has got to be enough to buy a board." And I went to, it was at that point, it was called Fast Forward.
I remember that shop.
I still love that
They
shop,
had a couple locations.
But I just started getting everything. I was like, "Oh, we need this." It was a Fast Forward shop board, so it was the cheapest board. But then I had Phantom 2 trucks. I don't know if anyone's even heard of that.
I have not. This is my first time hearing that.
That sounds like a
That
rare,
sounds
rare cop right
I
there.
thought they were bearings.
It's rare.
Yeah, no, I had Phantom 2 trucks. They were like maroon colored. I had
Jesus.
freaking Dark Star wheels, which is normally like a Walmart brand, but they had them there. But
That was back when Dark Star was official.
Yeah, literally.
Before they became Walmart brand, they used to be like a real legit thing.
No, those were cool. I actually had those wheels up until like about a year ago. But anyways, the board ended up costing around like $100 and something.
120 probably.
And I was like, "Oh no, I only saved up $50. My parents are gonna be pissed."
Gotta pull out a loan with the parents.
Damn.
And so then I was, it was so funny because I remember I told my mom, I was like, "I'll mow the lawn like every day. You don't even have to pay me." Normally I got $5 to do it, but I was like, "Hey, keep the 5, just put it towards my tab." And
Put it to my tab?
Yeah. I remember I was like going all out. I was like, "I want the Phantom 2s. They're the most expensive ones," but the lady was like, that's a lot of grass. That's a lot of grass you got to mow down." It's like,
Sheesh.
but yeah. So, I was just looking at any advice for getting your first board.
I guess the best advice would try to get off somebody at the skate park for free. Because I remember my first board that I got. I grew up watching my brother skate. I didn't get one till years later, till they quit skateboarding. Went to go visit my cousin, and he skateboarded. He was actually really good, nollie more heels. I was like, one thing, you don't know how good someone is until you actually get into the game and start realizing like, oh, you know, kickflips aren't that easy.
Yeah.
And I think he gave me a skateboard as a joke, because I was just following him around. Everyone's like, "Oh, here, like, just so you can shut up, here's my old board." And I remember the deck perfect. I remember the deck graphic. The trucks wheels, I don't remember that too much, but I remember it was a Southside. It was a Southside local skate shop. Southside's a skate park. It's an indoor skate park in the Houston area. They have a lot of big competitions out there. I remember he gave me one of those shop decks. But it was the coolest graphic ever. It was do y'all remember The Ring?
The Ring, the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The horror movie?
Yeah, so, no, it was basically the scene where they have the TV staticky and then they have the girl coming through the screen.
Oh,
it was an all purple or a purple tinted graphic with that basically it was a TV staticky and the girl coming
With
through
the
TV.
foil?
I wasn't foil, no. No, but it was still sick. I remember that. And I remember, like, he gave it to me. And I think I saw him, like, maybe, like, 6 months later. And actually, Sean was like, "Hey, look, I can ollie up a curb." And he was like, "Whoa, you actually practiced?" And, like, he
6 months ollie?
He was shocked that I, like, actually, like, tried it. Like, actually kind of took it pretty seriously. I'm pretty sure I was in middle school. But, yeah, I got that for free. And I didn't have to... My parents never bought me a board. They bought me a cruiser board. But that's because it looked like an old school 70s style. It was a Santa Cruz board. But yeah, no. From that point, I was just trying to get him
Took
for
off
free.
from there.
Oh
Yeah, I was just
The
trying to get
legend
him for free.
Jorge. 6 months ollie, dude. That's pretty impressive.
Allegedly finding skateboards at
Jorge's a local
skatepark.
at every park.
Whatever you do, just don't grab one and run. All right? Yeah. Make sure it's consensual.
Walk off casual.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Mike, what was your first board?
My first board was actually a Walmart Kryptonic Torpedo.
Nice.
It was a knockoff penny
Kryptonics.
board. I remember I was in middle school. I wanted to skate really bad, but I didn't know how to like ride a regular skateboard, so I got one of those, saved up. I sold chocolate in my neighborhood, like in my apartment complex. Bought that. I started like trying to like bomb my local hill. There's like a YouTube video out there. You can try to find it. You won't be able to find it. And I bombed this hill with my mom's Android phone, GoPro style, on that board, Walmart board, and ate shit. It's still on YouTube.
That's great.
So good luck with that.
Damn, repost it, man.
But my first official real skateboard
Hello
was like a hand-me-down board built through like some homies that were older than me that taught me how to like, you know, get my basics down.
Yeah. I think like a really important thing about getting your first board is like the trucks.
Yeah.
Like not really the deck, because like the deck's concave. Like nowadays, FA hockey has those like super advanced concave. But I really think like the trucks is like what's really most important, like getting a starter deck.
Yeah, no, like even if you're getting something off the shelf at a non-skate shop, just looking at the trucks and making sure you're not getting something made of plastic.
Oh, you can feel the difference.
And yeah, it's gonna go a long way.
Or like the bearings too.
The bearings, yeah, that's what I was about to
bearings.
say. The cheap boards, like the bearings are usually awful.
They just don't roll.
I've
Yeah.
once seen a board that's like being sold in Walmart have like fake bearings. It wasn't Walmart. It was like that board you got. Was it that little mini tiny board?
Yeah.
And it just had fake bearings inside
Yeah,
of
it
it.
didn't have bearings at all.
No?
It
Plastic
was just plastic on
bearings.
plastic axles. No,
It was
horrible. Yeah, but that was beyond bad. But there are levels, like recommended, if you can get some sort of board from a shop, even if it's as budget as possible, you're gonna
complete.
it's gonna take you
Still get
a
a complete.
lot farther than getting something at Walmart. But not saying you can't. If that's all you got, you can do it.
Go for the Dark Star
Yeah.
Complete.
Dark Star Complete.
They have metal trucks.
I'd say if you're like serious skateboarding, the like minimum for bearings would be reds.
Yeah, reds. Yeah.
Upgrade.
Anything like, I mean, price wise, I mean, you could probably get a complete for what, like 140, like a good one.
130. I'm pretty sure you can bust out a base complete for
Yeah, after
130.
tax, 130.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That would be a minimum.
After tax.
Yeah, and that would definitely get you pretty far. Like,
Definitely.
especially as a new skater, and also get something. This is one thing that I do. Get something that you like. If you have a board that you just like absolutely hate, but you just got it because it was cheap, probably gonna be less likely to bust it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As from a beginner standpoint,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird to say, but like the graphic builds your confidence up. Like
Yeah.
if you enjoy seeing the graphic all the time as you skateboard, you're gonna want to use it more than just something like an all blank deck.
Yeah, especially because when you're learning, you know, you're gonna be seeing the graphic face up a lot.
Yeah.
But anyways, so also one thing I would look for in your super cheap beginner boards is something that's not just totally flat. Usually I've noticed, like, if you're buying a board off the shelf, the ones that are just completely flat with no concave are the worst.
Piece of wood.
I love flat boards.
2x4.
I absolutely love flat boards actually.
I like
I-
mellow. I like mellow, but it's still got a concave.
like
don't-
extreme
I didn't start
Stick
riding like
concave only,
concave
man.
boards till this year, and it makes a difference. But until then, I was just buying the flattest board I could find,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I loved it. It was great for shove-its.
Yeah, that's the
was
thing.
great.
Your shove is coming real nice, like with a flat
And I was
board.
still flipping it, but once I
Yeah.
started skating the boards with the concave, I less flick. It helped out a lot.
What do you guys think? Like, how much does it matter? Well, obviously, like, size matters. But what about the size of the board? How much does that matter to a beginner skater? Going into the store, seeing, 7.75 to 9.
I would say as a beginner, you're probably gonna play with the size a lot.
Yeah.
Because throughout the years, I've changed my size completely. Right now, I'm at an 8.5. I remember when I was younger, I stuck to 8 for so long. And then I would slowly try different things. And then I was just like, all right, well, maybe 8's not it. Maybe it's 8.3 or 8.25.
Yeah.
Or I've been looking for a 9, can't find a street 9. So if y'all know where to find a street board 9, I would let me
Like a
know.
popsicle
let
deck?
me know.
Yeah.
Comment below where I could
Yeesh.
get like a board that's a size 9. That's not a cruiser.
Hey, our buddy Evan had that creature that was a 9.
The creature makes 9s?
Yes.
That's
It
wild.
was massive, and he had that wild grip pattern. But, yeah, I would say just shooting for something, you know, if your weight, depending on how tall you are or whatnot, it's not going to matter as much. But just know that like 8 is typically like, well, nowadays 8 might be pretty small.
825. I think 825 is like the standard now.
825
is like once you figure out what you want, and there's like people are at 85. So like me,
like
personally.
really depends when you are starting as a beginner.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, smaller skaters starting at 7.7, 7.5 even would be like just for that wheelbase to be smaller.
Yeah,
this is true. For especially young.
I will admit when I skated in middle school, then took like a 8-year break, and then came back to the game, and I had my flip complete still. That was a 775. And I didn't realize just how big a difference the size would make. So I went to a skate shop because this thing was trashed. Like the razor tail was unbelievable. Like
it survived the years of time though. 8 years and you still had it?
Yes, I still had it.
That's the amazing part, that it lasted that long.
There's a funny story. My parents were moving. This was like one of the main reasons I got back into skating. My parents were moving.
I remember this flip deck.
Yeah. No, they were
for the Supreme.
Yeah, they had 3 skateboards that my dad posted. I saw he posted them on Facebook Marketplace, and he had all 3 for $20. And it was like,
what a steal!
It was like shitty like mongoose board. There was some like Tony Hawk blue board that I don't even know where it came from. And then my flip. And I was like, Dad, don't sell the flip. That's like worth way more than $20.
What did he tell you? Like, buy it off of me?
No, literally, he was just like,
you remember that loan back in the day?
Yeah. Hey, you ain't paid it back yet. Yeah. Yeah, but I snagged it, and one of my friends, you know, was like, hey, let's go skate. But anyways, I wanted to get a new deck, and I was like, you know what? The rest of the stuff's probably still good. I'm just gonna get a new deck, and I bought one just on the graphic. I didn't think the size would really matter that much. And those trucks were like so small on the board. It looked like, the board was like an 825 on those little tiny 775 trucks.
The worst.
Wheel bite instantly.
Definitely try to get something that fits. Usually your skate shop can help you out with that. Getting like the proper size trucks for your deck.
This is true.
Doesn't matter.
Those have a chart online, but from what I heard, that different size trucks are different sizes. Well, of course, but like no, they change the measurements on them.
With different companies, like it's like different words.
There definitely should be
different
universal
numbers. Yeah.
Like I've had to Google it multiple times, and I don't think I've ever written the proper size trucks for my board. Never. Like right now, my trucks are actually sticking out like maybe like a centimeter or 2 out from my board.
Sheesh. Yeah.
I'm fine with it. I mean, it's working, but
I would rather have the trucks bigger than the board than like have it smaller.
Yeah, I feel that too. Like I noticed online for 825 size boards, people are saying like there's like a hot debate between 149 and 139 as to what you should run for Indy, anyways. Because Indy does the whatever millimeters or whatever. But like a perfect world, it would be like straight between. But there's half the crowd that's like, oh, 149 all the way, and the other half is like, no, 139.
For Indy, I think Indy has 144s.
They have that one. Yeah, that's perfect. But you know me, I had to get the Supreme ones.
Yeah, Supreme doesn't make those.
Make them in that size. So I went for the 149. Never looked back because I had 139s on before. They were just regular Indies. Then I got the 149s. Perfect fit.
Yeah, 149 is a good truck.
All right. Well, let's segue.
I will say I've only bought like 2 pairs of trucks ever.
Yeah, I mean,
they last forever. They last forever.
If you get something quality, it'll last.
Or not the hollows.
All right, let's segue into what it's like with progression. So when you first start skating, what did you guys think of like? How was your ordering? Like, how did you progress?
For me, it took me 6 months to learn how to ollie up a curb.
Which is pretty fast.
6 months.
Yeah,
I feel like it took me forever because once I ollied up the curb, I felt like I could take on the world. I can I can skateboard to the gas station and I can ollie up the curbs as I'm getting there.
It's like with no one to like mirror and like with no YouTube back in the day.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, it's like by yourself 6 months.
I don't think I thought about YouTube. I think I started looking up YouTube videos once I learned how to kickflip. And once I figured out how to kickflip, I was like, let me just like find random tricks and try to learn them from there. But progression, you have to push yourself. It's difficult. You'll drive yourself crazy thinking you're not going to land it. And then once you do, the world is yours.
Drive myself crazy every day.
I'm still driving myself crazy, yeah. But also, one thing I would think is one mistake I feel people make is they compare themselves to someone else and see like, oh, you learned how to ollie in 6 months? It's been like 8 months for me. That don't think.
Yeah,
that really puts you down.
Yeah.
That's true.
Because different people learn at different speeds. You might be better at one thing quick, and another thing might take a really long time.
Forever.
Like it took me over counting my middle school skating year, it took me like 2.5 years to be able to land a kickflip. So it's like your friend who lands a kickflip in 6 months, or even faster, don't.
Oh, that's a long.
Yeah.
That's fast. That's
Yeah,
fast to land that one.
Yeah, but saved. We're
Got
not
it.
littering. We do not litter here.
You definitely don't litter.
Respect the park.
Don't
Also,
mess with Texas.
what do you got? What's a good progression in terms of tricks, like order?
Order-wise,
Like for example, I did ollie, and then I moved to frontside 180, and then pop shove it.
Yeah, that's about right. Ollie, frontside 180, and then like backside shove it. or
Backside
something
shove
like
it.
that.
Yeah, that's what I did.
I think that's a good progression, like order of tricks. But like I guess time to learn them is like you really got to get that ollie down.
Yeah.
And it just opens
Having
up
a
everything.
solid ollie helps. It does. I feel like I did the wrong way. I started learning shove-its, and I learned every variation of shove that I could at the moment as a kid. And I didn't worry about flip tricks till it was too late. It was too late.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's never too late,
Because
man.
what was it? I learned back shoves really good. Started doing nollie shoves because it's just you just kind of turn them and just stay on top. But when I tried to learn a kickflip, I could not figure it out. So I just went straight to varial kickflip because it was just easier, just like scoop and then tell myself to flick.
I've actually heard that quite regularly. That people will learn the varial
Really?
kickflip before the regular kickflip.
Yeah, it took me. It took me until I actually started skateboarding with people to learn how to kickflip.
Yeah.
Yeah, so skateboarding alone, I could not figure out how to kickflip properly. So once I learned my varials, I was like, sweet.
I think like big
I got
beginner
it.
mistake is like you're focusing in on the kickflip.
Yes.
Like if you work on that ollie to like ollie up something, ollie down, ollie up a ramp, ollie down the ramp, it's like you get that foundation in, get those tricks in.
I noticed that was a flaw with me learning how to like ollie on flat only. And then I went somewhere where there was actually a ledge to try to ollie onto, and it's totally different. Like I was like, oh, I can ollie like, full 2 feet in the air. Why can't I get on this little tiny 10-inch ledge? And it's just like, it just gets in your head. So going somewhere like Jorge did, ollieing on the curb, ollieing off the curb, I'm sure that pays dividends.
No, a curb is amazing. I feel like a lot of people are they don't understand the power of a curb. A curb it can show you a lot of things. Slappies.
Just like
doing tricks off as well.
Even getting like the fundamentals of like a 50-50 stall, like alling onto the curb, alling off of the curb.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
It's holding it.
Like,
And I feel like a curb never loses its value, no matter how good you are.
No,
Like, I
you
feel like
can
you can
consistently.
always go back
Yeah,
to
you
the
can.
curb.
You can go back to the curb. Learn
Some
how to
manuals,
new form of
dude.
slappy.
Some street sessions, you're just olling up the curb, like cruising around, ollie down the curb. It's
Yep.
like
Yep.
little
it's
180s,
priceless.
little tricks over, and it still feels so accomplishing when you do a trick over it.
Best trick ever. Ollie.
It still counts it still counts as a trick.
Yeah.
It's the best trick. It's the key to every single trick.
I also
Mostly.
think I know everyone says this in every beginner tutorial ever, but getting comfortable riding your board first will help you a ton. So just feeling confident.
Skating variety.
Yep.
You want to
riding
skate
and-
a lot of variety. You don't want to get stuck in one spot, and then you'll be stuck in that progression.
Oh, yeah. Just riding down the ramps, riding up the ramps at your local, or even just riding in the street, on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Don't just get stuck on doing like tricks. You can actually like get comfortable riding around. That's one thing I did when I was younger. I was not comfortable riding around at all. I could do weird stuff, but riding a bull, no. I didn't learn how to drop until years later.
Yeah.
I started in the mini bowl, so
Nice.
yeah, I didn't learn the ollie until like 2 years later, man.
What?
Jeez. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, people definitely progress differently.
Yeah. But another thing I want to talk about is like what it's like for a totally new person to come to a skate park and what to expect. So
Everyone's more helpful than what you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot from talking to locals, and I made a lot of friends. And
Yeah.
that helps. Like just straight going at it alone is a lot harder than if you're going and skating with your friends.
Yeah. But I guess like coming into like a brand new skate park, you have like no experience. Like you have to understand like the skate park is like, it's almost like a community ground, like let's say like a playground where you come and like everyone's there just to skate and no one's there to like really do anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't start skating parks till like I was like 18 years old.
Really?
I started skateboarding when I was in middle school, and then at that point I was just skateboarding like behind the local
straight
centers, the
street,
streets,
flat
the
ground?
curbs, manholes. I love skating manholes. You just do tricks over it.
Oh, yeah,
and
it's like
then
a little gap.
I wasn't able to go to. My parents would never take me to parks. They took me to like a park once or twice, but once I learned how to drive, that's when I was like going to the skate park every day. And it was.
Got that.
I guess it was a
freedom.
different experience from other people because once I went to the park, I already had like a lot of my basics down.
Yeah.
But
And I'm sure that
Yeah,
helps.
which was real good. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, but like actually skating a real ledge was a different experience. A quarter pipe, I didn't learn how to drop until like I was 18, because at that point I had never seen like touched a quarter pipe.
Yeah.
I've only like watched videos and stuff. So that was definitely a new experience.
I remember the first park I ever went to was a Woodward Park in the Grapevine Mills Mall.
What?
You had to pay for it, and it was like
Dang.
it was in the mall. It was legit, and I showed up and I was like, "What the heck is this?" It was like wood ramps, and I was just like, "I guess I'm gonna try this," and I had an absolute blast. So,
That's great.
but
good
I will
stuff.
say before then, I spent at least 6 months to a year toiling around in my parents' driveway. So I had like a little bit of a baseline. I feel like if you show up brand new to the park,
You're not having a good
Yeah.
time, man.
you'll have like the
Yeah.
flat, if there's a good flat section, but like just rolling down a ramp, having never ridden a skateboard before, can be really intimidating.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember
You
at
get
that
padded
Woodward.
up.
Yeah, at Woodward, you had to wear knee pads and a helmet and stuff. But I was like, I'm gonna stand here on the edge of this, like it was like just a big kicker ramp, I guess. And I was just like, it took me like a good 5-10 minutes before I even tried to roll down it, and I was paying by the hour, so I was like, oh no.
By the hour?
Oh.
Jesus.
You had to pay
Man.
by the hour. It was like, and you had like a little wristband, and they wrote the time down.
Check your wrist.
That
Let me
was-
see
yeah,
that
that-
wrist real quick.
Wipe it off, just like.
Rewrite
Dang.
it. Take a Sharpie with you.
Another thing I want to talk about: ways you can avoid getting burned out,
Burnt
feel
out
like-
with progression.
or just burnt out with skating.
Ooh.
When to take a break, and
Yeah, this is a wide subject though, cause like skateboarding, you don't really there's like standing on the board, you don't really use a lot of muscles that you would usually use like in your daily life. So like weightlifting and everything, you're using a lot of bigger compound muscles. But like skateboarding, you're like doing small things. So if you like muscle fatigue, just cruising around, maybe that's recovery for like half a week, and then you get back into it. You're stronger standing on the board.
Yeah.
But you don't realize that like as a beginner, you don't see that as like a sport, like working out your muscles.
Yeah.
This is true.
So you get burnt out like that.
yeah. Also, just like getting frustrated, not being able to do something. Always have like, never go and be like, okay, I'm just gonna do like 100 pop shove-its today, and I'm eventually gonna start landing them. That's what I.
Man, I hate those challenges,
I-
like
I-
100 kickflip
I
challenge.
still do that sometimes. That's how I force myself to learn new tricks sometimes.
I hurt myself when I first started skating because I tried to I didn't know anyone, and I just came up to Wells and was like, you know what, I'm just gonna sit here in the corner and I'm just gonna try to do a pop shove it, and I just
100 pop shove-its.
well, not even 100. It was more like
Like one?
I'm just gonna land one. Like I couldn't do it, so I was like trying so hard, and I realized I was like wearing myself down, sort of like what Vince was saying, but in a
Yeah.
way that was bad. And the next day I couldn't walk. It was bad. I was like, I did something to my like thigh muscles or something. That was just like, just from like that same motion.
repeatedly
Yeah.
Did you stretch at all?
going down.
No, of course
Yeah,
not.
that's another thing. You gotta stretch.
All right, man.
Gotta get in the habit of stretching.
Yeah,
Facing my
stretching helps out a
consequences.
lot.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Who stretches? Just kidding. It definitely helps.
I
I've
mean,
also
Stretch
Yeah,
daily, stretch daily.
Yeah. No, I try to stretch before I come, try to do a little warm up. What do you guys do to warm up?
I stretch. I think stretching. I've noticed the days where I don't stretch, it's harder to warm up on the board. But the days I do stretch, I can basically get on the board, and within 10 minutes, I feel like just like a normal, like I'm ready to keep on going.
So, when you show up, what's your order? You show up,
Drink
you
my
drink
coffee.
a large iced coffee.
Drink a large iced coffee.
Yeah.
Can't forget the caffeine.
I get dehydrated with coffee, man.
Yeah.
I can't do
It
that.
definitely dehydrates you. That's the fact.
Keeps me going.
But you got to mix it with water.
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah.
don't forget the water.
Jorge, the effect's
What's your
reversed.
ratio?
Yeah.
What's the ratio?
1 to 1.
No, 2 to 2. And 2 creams, 2 sugars.
I think 2 to 2 is still a 1 to 1.
Yeah,
When you get a large, it's still 2 to 2.
coffee to water ratio.
Oh, dude, I don't know. I put as much as the pot
2.
can fit.
You actually cut your coffee with water?
Yeah.
I saw that on your Instagram story. Yeah, you know,
No,
right?
water it
so
down
the
a little
reason
bit.
I cut my coffee with water is because, like, so when you make a fresh pot of coffee,
It's
it's
too
too
hot.
hot and you want to drink it instantly.
Uh-huh.
You put a little bit of water on it.
Right.
Throw an ice cube
There's
in
some,
mine.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
some ice in
Same.
there because
It's
ice
the same.
Yeah,
coffee.
and
Throw
then
it in the
next thing you
freezer.
drink half of it, and then let the rest cool down, and then come back, chug it.
Yeah.
By that time, the rest of the pot should have cooled down, so you can just keep on going at it.
But
But yeah, when you get to the park, don't forget the coffee. Don't forget the hydration, basically. Get hydrated. Don't forget the water, and stretch a little bit, and then ollies.
yeah.
Ollies, little ollies, reverts. You don't gotta go
My-
straight for the trays.
Yeah, then straight in. Now my order is I show up, I walk around a bit, do a little stretching, do some calf raises, start riding the park. I just cruise around on the ramps once. We're back, Vince. What were we talking about? I forgot.
I already forgot what we were talking about. It was like 2 minutes ago.
Damn.
See,
me
we talked
too.
about getting burnt out on
Getting burnt
skateboarding,
out?
and
I
then
did not
what we
forget
did,
iced
how you warm up at the park.
Yeah, I think that's what we were on.
That's what we're on.
How do you warm up at the park, Mike?
Honestly, probably the same way you guys do. I like walk in the park. You know, guys check in with the homies. Then I basically roll around the park, get all my leg muscles warmed up, and I try to I try to do this sometimes. Some days I don't, but I try to just do my tricks that I know in a set, just on repeat. Like I'll do a bunch of frontside 180s, a bunch of shoves, not any specific number, just until I feel okay, now I'm ready to try something else.
I try to do that, like one and done almost.
Mhm.
Like do that 180, and then backside, front side shove it, backside shove it, and then you move on to the next thing immediately.
I have this weird thing whenever I do once I'm almost warmed up, not yet. I have 3 tricks I like to do in the line, and if I mess one of them up, I come back and I redo that all over again. Because in my there's just some tricks I feel like I should have unlocked before I start trying new stuff. But if I don't have those basics unlocked, I don't want to move on to something harder that I know I definitely won't be able to do.
I think that's a good way to do it because one thing I noticed is if I, after doing 1 million pop shove-its in a day or whatever, I was like, oh, I got this unlocked. And then I started trying to learn backside 180s and kick flips. And so then I kind of just put shove-its on the wayside. And then when I came back, I couldn't do it anymore. And it was having that where it's okay, I'm going to do it. I have a list of tricks I'm going to do every day. Having that just okay, my list currently is I'm doing at least a few nollie tries a day. I'm hitting both the Euro gaps here at least once. And I'm doing
Those Euro gaps are pretty big.
Yeah,
here at
Euro
Wells.
gaps are a good thing to learn on too.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that until I started going to skate parks. They help a lot with ollies.
Yeah, or learning just to be confident with sending it over something where there's some stakes behind
Yeah.
it.
Clipping.
I think
It's a good way to fly.
the most hurt I've ever gotten on skating is from the Euro gaps.
Really?
I've hurt
Lovely.
myself twice on the Euro gaps. Oh, also that rock to fakie. Never mind. That's the worst.
Yeah, ramps, man, quarters.
Yeah, quarters and rails. I remember. I think the worst one I got. I was still learning how my way through skateboarding. It was my first year, and at this point I just loved bombing hills. Bombing hills was my favorite thing to do. It was just walk around the neighborhood because I didn't go to skate park. So
Dang.
my thing to do was find really cool curbs and really cool hill bombs.
Just bombing hills.
I went to my local middle school because I knew there was a ditch nearby. And I saw I guess the older skaters, the older crew had set up one of the hurdles in between a grass gap. And so I was thinking there's some board slide marks. Let me see if I can learn how to board slide. So my first ever attempt at a board slide, I went at it. I remember landing halfway, slipping out, and after that I went unconscious.
Oh,
I blacked
shit.
out.
Yeah.
And I wake up to a stranger coming up to me and just snapping their fingers and asking me, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" I'm like, "Fine. What happened?"
Damn, how long were you
my
out?
homie was there. My homie just watched and did nothing.
Oh,
But then I think about it, these are we're 10 years old. What do I expect my friend to do?
yeah. Perform emergency.
Yeah, I think that's
first
probably
aid.
the worst fall that I can remember having, and I barely remember it.
Damn.
But it was a pretty. Now when I think back on it,
Things not to do as a beginner.
Yeah.
What would you say would be a good way to like to deal with like like the slams, like the falls, like messing up on like a Euro gap, clipping?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I know is hard, and every skater suffers from this problem, is taking a break. Like I hurt my leg pretty bad doing that rock to fakie. I pulled a muscle, and I could barely walk, and I was just like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to take time off. And that was what I was really worried about, because I wanted to skate so bad. And I was like, damn it, I'm hurt. I'm going to have to not skate. And so I spent like a whole day at home. But the main thing that I would say is taking it easy is a huge benefit, because otherwise your injury will just keep coming back. Like something that would have healed. And then it'll just lessen your skating for longer. Like you'll be skating less. So taking that good break, getting your ankle back to full before you start trying stuff, or before you start trying difficult stuff, definitely a good tip.
Yeah. Don't skate for the trick, skate for the next sesh.
Yep. Yeah. And I know this is kind of a hot take, but I always wear my helmet. I will say it has saved me twice now.
Oh, that's great.
From straight up. Like I've cracked it pretty good 2 times. And I was like, man, if that was my head,
probably wouldn't be skateboarding.
Probably wouldn't be skating, yeah, or skating a lot less.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a little anecdote, when I was first learning to skate, and I was learning how to do board slides, just like with
board
Jorge.
slides,
I had a rail, quote unquote, that I built. It was a PVC pipe drilled onto 2 2x4s.
Jesus.
So it was only 4 inches off the ground.
Legit.
With like a 1-inch PVC pipe on top.
That's a great DIY.
And I waxed the shit out of it. But I loved skating it, and I learned how to do like a slappy board slide where I would just roll up, put my trucks on it. But yeah, I slid out super hard and hit the back of my head bad. And that was why I was like, yep, I think helmet from now on. And from then on, I won't get caught without it.
Nice.
But that's just me. I know a lot of people don't like it. So.
Yeah, I don't judge anybody that wears any protective gear. You come to the park, you're wearing, some braces on, on your wrist or something on your ankle.
Yeah,
there's a guy that comes actually to Wells Branch. He's like he reminds me of the old skaters like in the 80s and stuff and 90s who would wear full pad skating vert.
Yeah.
That's kind of his style too. He does skate like that, and it's sick. I don't think that really wearing protection dampers your style. Like if you're sick, you're sick.
No.
They look at Andy Anderson too.
Showing up to the skate park to skate, man.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like as long as you're trying, you'll be good.
Yeah.
But Mike, you were talking about how to avoid getting slams like that.
How do you avoid
off topic.
not having a career-ending fall, especially as a beginner? Because I know as a beginner you're going to be falling a lot.
Yeah, so I think whenever I think about falling, I think about street versus park, because street ground is super rough, and then the park is super slick. So I guess it's being agile on your feet. You want to fall onto your feet as that's best case scenario. You catch yourself, you walk it out.
Yeah.
But I guess being able to be agile onto the ground, with your hands, with your feet, and kind of avoiding that damage.
Stay loose, basically, essentially.
Yeah.
Don't stiffen up. Actually know when you're falling what to do. I guess have a good reaction time.
Falling in and of itself.
Reaction time for sure.
Reaction time is a factor.
That's an art
Falling
form.
is a skill. I've noticed. I used to fall just putting my hands straight out in front of me. That's the worst.
Dangerous.
I sprained. Well, actually, on the Euro gap, yet again, I clipped my back truck. I clipped my back truck, put both hands out in front of me. I sprained both my wrists, pretty bad.
Wow.
And just bending my wrist, hyperextension and stuff. It was pretty tough. But I came back the next day, and I got into a situation where I was falling, and then I literally thought to myself, that's gonna hurt really bad if I land on my hands. So I tucked into it and rolled through it over my shoulder, kind of. And then I was like, oh, I think I know how to fall now.
Yeah, sliding it out at the park is go-to.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Learning how to fall, critical. Because if you don't fall well, especially as a beginner, it's going to be tough to keep going.
So would you say when you're learning how to fall, don't put your hands out and just go for the shoulder?
Or just try as best you can to minimize the rate of you going straight to the ground.
Oh yeah, keep your momentum going.
Yeah,
That's the thing you want to do.
If your inertia is going straight down, your fall is going to be worse, no matter what. It's even if you're falling on your butt, even if you're falling backwards, if you can push to like continue traveling forwards, if you can slide across the ground,
Sliding.
sliding on your shoulder, sliding any way, using your hands to kind of get yourself into a better position.
Yep.
Keeping that force going. Anything to like transmit that power or like whatever momentum you have.
Yeah, like
going.
rolling around in the grass would like help visualize that. Kind of.
Because if you stop, if you're basically going to land on your shoulder and you stop, you go to a dead stop on the ground, all that force or whatever fall you're taking it straight to your shoulder.
Yeah.
That's how you break stuff. That's how you really get injured.
Yep.
This tip's kind of counterintuitive, but like, let's say you're skating a big ramp that you've never skated before. There's so many ways that you didn't imagine you can fall, and like you can fall that way. So like the only experience that you would get falling that way is actually falling.
Yeah. There's really nothing like you.
It's like you got to build up to that.
Gotta get padded up. You know, if you're feeling uncomfortable situation like that and you're trying to learn how to fall, I would say get some pads.
And it will help with confidence.
You know.
Like you don't have like that's. I would say probably like 85% of the reason I wear my helmet is it makes me feel more confident. I know that like, stakes are high, but it's not as bad. Like, I'm less likely to get seriously messed up. So it just gives me the ability to think like, oh, okay, I can try this.
So I will say this. I don't know if this works for anyone, but do y'all ever like just purposely fall on purpose?
I have before.
Like, so you can like know what that experience could possibly be like. So
For
whenever
stair sets,
it does happen,
Jumping
you're like
downstairs.
mentally aware of like, all right, well, if I fall like this and I need to do this, if I fall like that, this is how I'm gonna move my leg. There's been a few times where I do that, but no shame on like purposely falling.
Oh yeah, no.
Because I'm just gonna, I'm gonna be more confident next time I approach that trick. I'll be fine with it. But yeah, that's one thing I do. Sometimes I purposely fall.
Falling is inevitable though. You're gonna fall, man.
Yeah, going into skating thinking you're not gonna at least get hurt once.
You just get stuck in your head like that.
It's
like,
impossible.
You won't be trying
when
tricks.
I rolled my ankle last week.
Oof, yeah.
Or getting heel bruises.
Wasn't even doing a trick. I was stepping off my board and I just like rolled my ankle. I was trying a trick and I almost landed. I got hyped. And I rolled away and then stepped off my board, and that's when I hurt myself. You can never expect when you're gonna hurt yourself, you know?
Getting hurt after you were rolling away.
A really good piece of equipment to have is a good pair of shoes. Like having a good pair of decent skating shoes.
Gotta find what supports you.
Something with a good insole. Something that will absorb some of the impacts.
I see a lot of beginner skaters coming in with like Nike, like running shoes or something like that. Like with that sole, that cushions, like no board feel.
Yeah.
Kind of hurts you more than help you.
Yeah. Yeah, there's always that fine line of like having too much versus having too little. Like I had a pair of the regular skate high Vans. They weren't the pro models. They were just like the canvas
Still a
ones.
good skate shoe.
It's a decent skate shoe to learn in, but I will say I hurt my heels way more. Like just landing hard on the heel with those, so bad.
Heel bruises are the most unexpected, injuries I've had.
Yeah.
They're so unexpected. That's why getting a good pair of shoes can definitely help.
Yeah, and there's really like the only thing you can do with the heel bruise is just take a break.
Yes.
Yeah. Walk it off.
It's really
walk
hard.
Walk it off the track.
It's really hard.
You can barely walk it off though.
Wait till your body regenerates.
Limp it off.
You gotta just walk on your toes the entire time.
Just tiptoe.
Just bring that cane with you.
Yeah.
Hey, you might take a break from heel flip. Learn kick flip instead. Just kidding.
Jesus.
The double primo, that was the worst. I think I bruised both my heels. When I did like I landed primo on both my heels at the same time. And it was like hard. I was stomping it because I was like, I'm gonna stomp bolts on this one.
As soon as I see grip.
Yeah.
But you had a commitment.
I committed.
That's one thing you were committed.
I committed and it hurt. The board was still upright when I walked away. Like I hit it so hard, it was still steady primo. It was like, man, if I was a freestyle skater, I'd be like,
You'd be
hell yeah.
hyped.
Easy.
Primos are scary, but I don't know, sometimes you land into them, you're like, damn, that was a blast.
I've learned how to fall pretty well from primo. I fell like the other day like 3 times, just like straight backwards, all good.
Lean back.
Chilling. Yeah, it was good. Well, let me delve back into my notes. Anything else you guys have been thinking about,
We didn't talk about how like for a beginner skater, you can come into skateboarding at any age.
Definitely.
That's true.
Yes.
This is true.
So you could be a 4-year-old starting skateboarding, or you can be like 25, 29.
Yeah. Take me, for example. I started when I was 26. Like, I count. Like, I skated in middle school, but
like getting seriously skateboarding,
When I seriously started skating, I was 26. So, I will say I went in with some expectations that were more realistic. Like, I don't think I will ever be hitting, like, massive sets. I just don't think it's in the cards, But I came in with what I wanted to learn, I'm still scared of the rails since that middle school incident. So I don't, I have fun, but I don't skate the rail.
Stick to what you like. You found what you liked in skateboarding, and you kind of just pursued that.
Yeah. If you want to,
you got to find what you want to get out of skateboarding. You know.
See, there's like three types of skaters, like casual for fun, and then like competitive. You really want to pursue that skate or die life.
Yeah. You go into it with what you think you can accomplish, and
go for it.
Yeah. I was definitely not in that skate or die category.
There was a certain point where I think after high school, I just stopped hitting gaps. And I used to think like, oh yeah, doing stair sets, doing drops, it was cool. But once you feel like a little light pain in your knees or your ankles, or you just land primo off a stair set, I think those were the worst. Those are the ones that made me want to quit, when landing primo off a stair set.
Oof. Yeah. I skate the 3-stair at Pflugerville. And then I have a goal of hitting the 5-stair, and I'm gonna hit it, and I think that's gonna be it.
That's peak. That's peak.
It for stairs.
I want to max out on 5-stair.
Yeah.
Man.
I don't even hit the 5-stair anymore. Like any little gap I see, I just avoid gaps at all costs anymore. I'll do a ton of tricks on flat, but you ask me to take it down like a drop, probably not gonna happen.
I see you doing these like tray onto the wall rides and stuff. That's different
because I feel like you're just moving your momentum to a different
That's not
location.
different, man.
But if you're doing it into like a drop, you're not just slamming onto the ground. You're kind of putting it onto like something else that's gonna push you forward.
And I guess if you're good enough to skate a handrail, doesn't that help a little bit? I'm not, so I have no experience with this. But like lessening impacts. Just skate the handrail, bro. It's that easy.
Not even.
Jesus, bro.
I think it's the same. I'd have to ollie before attempting the handrail.
You wouldn't, trying a set.
You don't go straight for it. You don't like warm up.
No, the warm up is the ollie. Like so you get the suspension, so you know how much impact you're taking. Yeah.
What kind of stuff do you guys bring with you to the park? We already talked about Jorge bringing that iced coffee.
Iced coffee.
I would say
there's a lot of things.
What's the ritual? Like
what do we keep in our skate backpack, or like on our
wax
skate bag,
and a skate tool is all you need.
Wax and skate tool, water. A lot of water.
Water. Don't forget water. That's one thing you will need.
I bring sunscreen.
That's a good one.
Sunscreen helps. Your board.
Forget your board.
I bring a lot of things. Like whenever on skate trips, I literally bring everything I need.
If you're good enough, having a backup board.
Yeah.
But if we're talking beginners, I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Sleeping on that backup shirt after you sweat all that.
I've brought the backup shirt before.
Backup shirt? That's a good one. I've never done that.
Yeah. Getting all nasty after the sesh.
Yeah.
You actually want to go out and do normal life stuff after the skate park.
Don't want to be feeling all sweaty.
Yeah.
You guys have any other any things from when you were beginning? Any stories that could help our poor listener who's just starting skating? Obviously.
I will say maybe this doesn't work for everyone, but in my experience, I'm kind of happy I didn't grow up didn't start skating going to the skate park, because whenever I started skating, for me it was just a curb, manhole, and street, and skating all the local little spots.
Man, building that foundation is great stuff.
So when I first started coming to skate park, it was weird seeing these little kids just doing these awesome kickflips over 2-stair. For me, that was crazy. For me, I had to build my way up to that. But I don't think you have to start going to a skate park to learn how to skate. I feel like if you just find yourself a nice empty parking lot, that can work just as good.
Some place with at least some decent ground.
Yeah, like a basketball court, tennis court.
Yeah,
those are perfect.
Just somewhere you can build your confidence and just kind of learn your basics.
See, for tips for a beginner skater, I'd say finding someone at your same skill level.
Yeah.
Or if it's even better if they're slightly better than you,
Yeah.
so you can reach for that.
It's motivating.
Yeah.
I would say that is motivating. Finding people.
Because pulling up to the park and seeing people do, let's say switch tray down the 9 is it's kind of blinding to you almost.
Yes.
You don't know what's happening, you don't know what's going on, and you can't really visualize yourself doing that.
Also,
this is true.
Anyone who can do switch tray down the 9, they've started
eons ago, man.
They probably started just like a beginner
Yeah.
would, just doing pop shove-its in the corner at Wells Branch.
Yeah.
Like, don't get disgruntled. Like, oh man, I don't think I'll ever be able to switch straight on the 9. That's fine. Like, that's all good.
Yeah, keep it realistic. You know, like don't compare yourself to. Is my timer going off? Cut this out.
Technical difficulties.
Cut this out.
Is that a phone call?
Nah, it's time I have to leave.
All
Cut
right.
this part
Well,
out.
anyways, any other last final thoughts before we wrap this one up?
Never stop pushing.
Never stop pushing.
Yeah. Have goals in mind
Yeah.
coming into the sport.
And don't forget the water.
Don't forget
Like the water.
Stay
water's one of the
hydrated.
big things.
Get those nutrients.
Matcha.
Breakfast, lunch, and
I
dinner.
like the
Oh
matcha.
yeah, you'll have a much better time if you're not miserable.
Yeah.
Get some food in your body. You
Don't
burn
push
energy.
yourself too hard, just hard enough. Give yourself enough breaks between your injuries.
And don't overthink stuff.
Yeah.
Not to don't get overthink and don't get burnt out.
In the end,
burnt out is another one.
We're riding a stick with wheels on it.
Yeah.
It's true.
You just gotta look back in the mirror and don't give up. But anyways, Land and Bowls Podcast episode 3. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, get that comment going.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button. Smash that dislike button if you hated it.
Give
That's
us any
all good.
topics to talk about for our next
Yeah.
episode.
If you think this one was
Love it.
bland, you know what? Leave that in the comments. But anyways, make sure to follow us all on Instagram. Hopefully we'll be on other platforms. Currently we're only on YouTube, but coming soon to Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Keep an eye out. Make sure to subscribe. Give us money at Land and Bowls Podcast. And we'll see you next time.
Peace.